Do you have access to switching on the recording?
Yeah, I started.
Great. Thanks very much for reminding us. Right. So once again, welcome back. This is a follow-on session from the architecture session we did before lunch. In this session, we will implement every single principle we have studied. We started with Postman architecture, and then we evolved it into, in technical terms, we call it enterprise application interconnect. It has two parts. It has a communicator, and it has an orchestrator. So communicator, we said we are using MQTT protocol, and orchestrator we are using Node-RED. This session, these 90 minutes are all about the MQTT protocol. All right. And a little side note from my side is many times we find that people are directly training on protocol or how to program and how to do publish subscribe. I think that's bit better than that. It's better to first explain the architecture, because see, protocols will come and go. Maybe 5 years later something better will be there, right? But the architectural concepts we have seen in the previous session are stable, and they are certified proper design patterns that all industry all industries use. So which is why I find that covering architecture first, understanding the principles, and then going and implementing it always stays with us for a longer time, right? So good that we are all comfortable with the architecture and principles bit. Now let's move on to how do you use that architecture into real world projects. Specifically, this session is about MQTT. All right. So in this session, these are the four things I want to show you. So from this session onwards, everything is hands-on, everything is a demo, everything is practical, very few slides. Okay, and I can guarantee you it'll be very exciting, very engaging when you start putting devices talking to other devices, devices talking to the cloud and database, and you can see things on a mobile. So this session onwards, we'll introduce how can we make the device talk to our mobile. So lots of good stuff coming up, and I'm sure everybody will find it very engaging. All right. So in this session, first we will show you, we've seen what a broker is. We have seen that device to cloud communication happens over MQTT. We'll start out with a very simple example. I will show you the code, then I will show you the working device. All right. And receiving, how to receive message from MQTT. Then these are just dummy examples. Then we will go to a more meaningful use case where we are actually switching things on and off from our mobile phone. We'll switch some devices on and off over MQTT, and we will monitor live sensor readings over MQTT on our mobile phones. So very, very real IoT stuff we will do by the end of this session. All right. Before that, let's understand MQTT a little bit more. And I'm going to go back to my favorite whiteboard for this. It'll probably just take 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and show you the code. All right. One quick note, let's not worry about the code. I'll walk you through the code. I will share our training repository that has a lot of different kinds of code there. See, our purpose is not to teach attendees how to code or how to be good programmers. The entire industry is moving towards tools. So code should be the least of our concerns. I will provide all the code that you need. Don't worry about it. I will just walk important parts of the code to show you how it is working. Okay, code is not a worry. Right. So let's come back. And I think I have my monitor shows me that my slide is visible. Let's talk about MQTT. So far we have been talking about generic communication. Now let's distill it and talk about specifically how MQTT communication works. All right. Let me go to my whiteboard. All right. Okay, give me just half a minute while my whiteboard loads. Okay, we are back. Let me go back, change our colors and everything. It's a very good training tool, I find. I've been using it for almost a year in all my trainings. All right, great. So far we have been speaking about communication generally. Now let's speak very specifically about MQTT communication, right? So when we say communicate, of course, there are many ways. Just like two people want to communicate, they can talk face to face, they can talk over the phone, they can send each other SMSs, they can send each other letters, they can talk over chat rooms, etc., etc. So there are lots and lots of ways for two entities to talk. Similarly, in the technology systems, there are lots and lots of ways where two systems can talk. So if we say technical communications, all right, some of the different ways people can talk are you can talk directly over URLs, which we call as HTTP communication. Where sites send each other messages directly, which is consumed in real time. There is no storage involved. All right. Then there is something called, queue-based communication, QUEUE, where the messages, this is called asynchronous communication. So let's think of it as a WhatsApp chat versus a phone call. A phone call is synchronous because both the receiver and sender have to be on the phone line simultaneously. Okay, so you can't leave a phone call for the other person to come and pick up. All right, unless you're talking about voice messages. Now a chat on the other hand, or an SMS, you can just send a person a message in the morning, they can come and it will be there for them to read in the evening, which is called asynchronous communication, where the sender and receiver don't have to be on the line at the same time. The message gets stored. All right. So in architecture parlance, this is called queue-based communication. Your messages keep going and sitting in a queue, in a pipeline, and the receiver comes and picks it up at the end of the day or any number of times during the day. All right. And there's a third kind of communication that happens, which is called pub sub, publisher subscriber. I'll let the screen refresh. Yeah. All right. So there is a instant URL communication. There's a storage based queue communication and there's a pub sub communication. All right. Let's not worry about URL. This is mostly useful for websites and all. Okay. We are going to take a very quick overview of queue based communication versus pub sub communication. All right. Once again, let's go back to our trusty communicators A and B. Let's say what does a queue-based communication look like? All right, you have a system called A, you have a system called B, I think there's a couple of seconds lag, no worries. And there's a pipe between A and B, okay? And this pipe is called a queue. All right, so what it means is there's a queue from A to B. Whenever A wants to talk to B, it can keep sending messages, M1, M2, M3, etc. on this message, and B will keep receiving it in that sequence. Similarly, B will send responses 1, 2, 3 again on the pipe, and A will keep receiving those in sequence. All right. Let me plug in this camera also. I need to show you another camera today. Right. So this is a queue-based communication where two parties talk to each other. There is no third party who can come and listen in on that communication. All right. So it's just between A and B. It's not available to anybody else. Let me start my second camera because I want to show you a device here. Something is slowing down my computer. Yeah. Just 1 minute, guys. Give me 1 minute more. Actually, in this session, I'm going to show you a camera. I'm going to show you my mobile phone. I'm going to show you the MQTT server. I'm going to show you, a client. So it's going to be pretty heavy on the computer. Okay, that's my second camera coming up. Okay, I'll let the camera load. In the meantime, we'll carry on with our session. Okay. So this is what queue-based communication looks like. This is all A talking to B, B talking to A. If there's a third system here called C, right? It cannot peek in, it cannot listen to what A and B are talking about. So if there's a system C here, there is no way C can access this communication. Okay. Now this is called queue-based communication. Now that's okay when your website wants to talk to your banking backend because it's a very private one-on-one conversation. That's not okay in IoT like environments because multiple devices might want to converse together on the same topic. All right. So you need a different kind of communication protocol when we are having multiple transmitters and receivers doing the same job. So for that, another communication methodology has been invented, which is called pub sub. All right. What happened to my pen? Okay. All right. Now what it means is this stands for publisher. This stands for subscriber. Now, as the name indicates, this is not a one-to-one communication channel where just A is sending to B and B only B can listen. In this case, let's say there is A. A is a publisher. All right, publisher of messages. A is going to transmit to what is called a topic. All right. This is a topic. All right. And any number of people can listen to that. You can have B listen here. You can have C listen here. You can have any number of subscribers. So these guys are called subscribers. Okay. So A is a publisher and B, C, D, E, F, anybody who's listening to that topic is a subscriber. Okay. And this is where a very important notion of a topic comes up. Technically also MQTT calls this thing as a topic. And this is exact analogy. Let's say, take the example of a university awarding a degree to a student. Now that message is specifically meant to go from the university to a particular student called Abhijit. That's an example of a queue. It doesn't go to anybody else. But let's say the college is publishing examination schedule. All right. So the college office is going to come up with a table. They're going to print it on a piece of paper and there will be a notice board of examination department and you will come and paste it that piece of paper on the notice board. So that topic, the notice board deals with examination topic and that one message is the schedule of upcoming examinations, which is not meant for just one student. It is meant for anybody who wants to look at the examination topics. All right. Now we don't force people to come and see, right? Come and I'm going to force you to see the schedule. People are interested. Students are interested to look at the topic. So whoever is interested can walk up to the board, read what's written there and then go away. Okay, so all those people are subscribers and the college is publisher of the examination schedule. All right. I'll give you one more example. If you use Facebook, Twitter or LinkedIn, right, you follow people. Let's take Facebook. Let's say Abhijit follows Renuka ma'am's. All right. So whenever Renuka ma'am updates something that I'm going to start session number 3 today, Abhijit comes to know because Abhijit is following her page, right? Whenever a new message gets published by Renuka ma'am, Abhijit gets to see as a subscriber. And Abhijit is not the only people. Maybe there are 60 people in this group who are subscribing to that page. Okay. So in a nutshell, a publisher is a one-to-many relationship. One publisher can put it. They are not publishing to directly people. They are publishing to a notice board. It's a virtual notice board called a topic. All right. And all devices, all entities, all people who want to know what's happening on that topic will come and subscribe to it. All right. Renuka ma'am doesn't care who all are subscribing, that she doesn't want to know whether Abhijit specifically got the message or not. All right. She'll publish and her job is done. It's Abhijit's job to come to the notice board and see and interpret that message. All right. So this is what the pub sub model stands for. Pub is publisher, sub is subscriber. Now the central theme, and I'm very specifically talking about PubSub. I'm not yet talking MQTT. There are many other protocols that allow us to do, allow us to do PubSub. Okay. Let's talk specifically about MQTT now. Okay. So we started out our discussion with communication in mind, right? Your top level discussion topic was communication. Now you could communicate using URL. You could communicate using queue. You could communicate using PubSub. All right. Then these are all methods. These are not even protocols. PubSub has many different, ways protocols. One of them, the most popular one, is MQTT. There will be others also. Each of them will execute PubSub in a different way. So this is the hierarchy. We want to communicate. We want a PubSub model of communication. We want to use MQTT as our protocol. Okay. Now let's look at how MQTT does PubSub communication. Let's clear this sheet once again. Now, specifically, we will come to talk about MQTT. Just give me a moment. My browser is stuck for a while there. All right. So we are talking MQTT. Now there is one central concept which is key, which makes the entire MQTT thing work. It's called a topic. All right. Everything is in the context of a topic, right? And let's now try and take examples from the IoT space. Let us say that you have a door. These are things, right? Remember, definition of IoT, connected things which are collecting and exchanging other things. So door is, let's say, a publisher. It is publishing open or close. And that goes out to a topic. Now, anybody who's interested to know whether the door is open or closed, maybe it's a light, maybe it's a siren, maybe your mobile phone wants to get an alert when somebody has opened your door and you are on vacation. So that becomes a subscriber. Okay, let's say it's a siren. You are on vacation. Whenever the door opens, your siren is expecting to get a message and then the siren starts ringing. So siren will subscribe to a topic where door is publishing. Now, important thing to remember here, my friends, very important. The door doesn't care who all subscribe to it. The door's job is whenever the door opens, it could detect in many ways. You could use different kind of embedded sensors there. All right. The moment the door opens, the door wants to publish a message called open on a topic, and then its job is done. Now it's for the other device to come and subscribe that whenever the door opens, I want to do something. All right. And let's say a mobile phone also gets subscribed to the same door. It's a second subscriber. All right. So your mobile will also get an SMS. You could make a porch light, that I want a porch light to come up, right? You might want your TV to start playing something so that people think somebody is home. You might want your neighbor to get, get an alarm or get a light or get an SMS that, I am not at home, but somebody has entered my neighbor, kind of things. So the event doesn't care who all subscribe to the event. The event's job is just to publish faithfully what has happened. Whoever is interested in that event can come and know what has happened. All right. So this is the whole notion of a topic, what a topic is. Okay. Now let's see what all different kinds of topics we want. Ideally, what could happen is you have a door. It publishes. Let me take a different example. Let's take a simple example. Let's just start with one door and one light. Okay. So you have a door object, and remember guys, now all these, when I say door, it's now a smart door. There's a, um, there's an embedded device like this installed on the door. which detects through sensors and microcontrollers and talks to the cloud whether a door is open or closed. Okay, so door becomes one such thing. Let's say I create a topic called door underscore topic. All right, and it just does one thing. It either publishes open or it publishes close, and its job is done, right? And on the other side of the topic, I want there to be a light, right? Now, whenever the door opens, I want a porch light to light. Whenever the door closes, I want the light to go off. Okay, so this is going to read open or close, right? Now, this is where the beauty of MQTT comes in. All right. Now, suppose it's not just the light. I also want a siren to sound, right? Whenever the door opens. This is what my drawing is very bad. So let's say this is light. Let's say this is siren. Siren also wants to sound whenever the door opens. All right. So siren will read that message from here also. Okay. Now I will tell you a practical problem. Suppose I don't want the light to light only when the door opens. I also want the light to glow when some car drives into my parking. All right. So let's say I have an object called car that will send a message here that I'm driving in or I am driving out. And now the job of a light becomes very complicated. It has to respond to the door. It has to respond to the car. It has to respond to a number of other things that it doesn't even know about. Okay. Now should it respond to the open event or should it respond to the in event? All right. So the light gets fed up and says, boss, I don't care what all events are there. I'm not going to respond to everything you want. I am just going to respond to either send me an on or send me an off command. I will not respond to anything else. Okay. I think I'll let the screen catch up with what I'm typing. So the light gets fed up that how many times will I keep track? So just send me on or off and somebody else should take care of enough to, switch on or off. I think I'm going to have to switch out to another network. So just give me half a minute. Whose network is on here? Copper Cloud also. Copper Cloud. Yeah, it's connecting. Okay, it connected. Am I audible again, Renuka ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, great. Right. So we have a problem because now the bulb needs to respond to multiple different inputs. All right. So what we do is the right way that we can use MQTT to solve these kind of problems is this. We say that let every device have its own topic. All right. Topics don't cost us anything. It's just one more virtual bucket on the server. All right. So what I'm going to do is have a separate, every device gets to have its own topic. Okay. Let me show you how that will look. Have a door talking to a topic called topic door. All right. And this topic would only allow people to say open or close. All right. Next, let's say we have a car driving in or out. So let's give the car its own topic. All right. This is how we design topics for MQTT. You have a car. It has its own 100% dedicated topic called car. It is only going to say I am in or I am out. So there is no confusion. Now let's see what happens with the bulb. Let's create a topic for the bulb. All right. And the bulb listens to it. And the only thing it will allow is either on or off. All right. So now every topic knows that this topic is meant for a bulb. This topic is meant for a door. This topic is meant for a car. Now see what happens. You remember we have one more player in the middle called the orchestrator, the Node-RED. All right. Whenever the door says open, orchestrator listens to it, converts it to a message called on and gives it to the bulb. Whenever the car says I am in, orchestrator listens to it, converts it to something called on and sends it to the bulb. So the bulb doesn't care. Bulb will always listen to on or off. It will not get any invalid message. On the part of the door doesn't have to share the topic with a car. So it will always send open and close. The car will always send in and out. So essentially what we have done is we have paired up devices with topics. Remember, topics are free. They are just consuming some RAM, all right, on a server. So every device has its own topic, right? Every actuator, every microcontroller, etc. And it's the job of your orchestrator to figure out that if the door is open, then I should convert that open message into an on message and send it to the topic that the bulb listens to. Okay. Now this is the beauty of MQTT. It makes sure all this is possible. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to create or destroy topics. The moment you say I want to send open to a topic called door, the topic gets created. The moment anybody subscribes to the topic called door, MQTT makes sure that any messages coming on the topic are delivered to that subscriber. All right. So let me go back to the deck because now we have established enough of a background. Right. So we said let's start with communication. Instead of queue, we are going to prefer to do pub sub, right? And this is how it works. So there are three particular things that MQTT does for us. All right. Specifically MQTT as a protocol. First and foremost, it allows us the beautiful concept of topics, and it manages all the complexity that is associated with topics. It will create topics, it will destroy topics, it will keep track that who all have subscribed to this topic, and it will make sure that if there are 20 people listening to the door, unless all 20 have received the message will not be deleted from the topic. Okay. So first job that MQTT does for us is topic management. It makes sure that all the publishers, all the subscribers are able to use the topics properly. Okay. The second job that the MQTT does for us is delivery management. It makes sure that your receivers receive your messages. Okay. How does it do that? Now, in communications engineering, you would have heard of something called one-way handshake, two-way handshake, three-way handshake. These are ways to make sure that messages get delivered between parties. Okay. So there is a notion of something called QoS, quality of service. QoS 0 means there is no assurance your message will be delivered. And the moment you give a message to MQTT, it will send it once to the receiver. Okay. And it will not ask for acknowledgement. If the receiver doesn't receive it, it's not going to transmit the message again. So it's a fire and forget kind of thing. QoS 0, right? QoS 1 is a little more delivery assurance. It means that let's say the sensor sends a 30 degrees centigrade to MQTT. MQTT will send it to the sprinkler once and wait for an acknowledgement that the sprinkler will come and tell back, yes, I have received your message. If it doesn't get it, it will keep sending that message until the receiver acknowledges, yes, stop sending me messages, I have received your message. All right, that's called QoS 1 or a two-way handshake. All right. And the most secure and the most assured is a three-way handshake. So the sensor sends 30 degrees Celsius to the MQTT. MQTT will send that forward to the sprinkler. The sprinkler will acknowledge that, yes, I have got your message. Now the MQTT will also tell the sprinkler that I have received your acknowledgement. Okay. So in cases where it's absolutely essential that you need 100% guarantee. It's something like when we do return receipt by post, speed post, somebody comes and gives you a signed letter that yes, both parties have acknowledged that the message has been sent, received and understood. So that is the equivalent of a QoS 02, which is three-way handshake. You give your message to the MQTT, MQTT will deliver it to the recipient. Recipient will acknowledge I have received a message, and MQTT will acknowledge that I have received your acknowledgement. Otherwise, the receiver will keep sending acknowledgement until MQTT acknowledges. Okay. Now, why is this also important? This is important because your devices, now we would not need MQTT if all our IoT software was running on the cloud. Okay. But remember, a very important part of your MQTT software is running not on the cloud, but on devices such as these. These devices do not have so much RAM, they do not have so much processing power to act as a server and keep sending the same message again and again. So what happens is this device's job is over as soon as this device sends this message to MQTT. From that point onwards, it is the job of MQTT to make sure that the receiver receives it. Whether it has to send it 10 more times, whether it has to ask for acknowledgement before, until it keeps sending, all that your device doesn't have to do. Your device has to send message only once. And from that point onwards, it's MQTT's job to make sure it is delivered. And because we are working with microcontrollers, because we are working with things which have like, 8 KB RAM and just 500 KB total space. So it is a must that you have to take as much work off this device as possible. So there's a principle, in architecture that everything do the smallest required work that it can do. In case of these devices, it is just sense and send. Sense, send, sense, send, sense, send, or receive and respond. If it receives on, it will switch on a light. If it receives off, it will switch off a light. It will not question why I'm being told to switch on or switch off. That makes its job too hard. Okay, so because your devices are very simple, because you don't want a device to manage the responsibility of sending messages, that's why MQTT takes care of that load. Okay, and that's why delivery management is so important. Now, the third major feature MQTT offer, it's a very nice feature. We use it every day. This is called LWT. Okay, and LWT stands for last will and testament. Really, I'm not joking. Okay, so people among the group might be thinking, why are we talking about dead things and will and testament and all? Because see, we need to know when our devices are connected to the MQTT and when they are not connected to MQTT. Okay, take for example, let's say the sprinkler that we have been speaking about. Let's say the sensor is sending 30 degrees, 60 degrees centigrade, and our MQTT is telling the sprinkler to switch on. But unfortunately, the sprinkler is not connected to the MQTT. Then no matter how many messages we send, it's not gonna work. So it's a must for us to know that when one of our devices has got disconnected. It could happen for many reasons. We will cover that maybe later. But it is essential for any IoT framework to know that if I have 100 devices that are part of my solution, 30 of them are not responding to messages. How do you do that? Now, it's easy to detect when a device is connected because the device sends something called a birth message. As soon as the device connects to the MQTT, it's going to send a message. Hey, my IP address is such and such. I have just joined this network. I am subscribing to the topic called door or topic called temperature sensor. But when a device gets disconnected, it can't tell you it is disconnected. All right. So how do we know? So it's the same funda. A person after dying cannot tell people I am dying. He leaves a will and testament that after I die, please follow these instructions. So similarly, when a device connects to MQTT, it registers a will and testament that if ever I get disconnected, please do this. For example, I am a sprinkler. I am listening to the subscriber called temperature. If ever I get disconnected, send a message to the broker that I am no longer listening. I am dead. Come and fix me. All right. That message is called LWT, last will and testament. It's a very important message. It's the only way for the administrators to know that one of your devices is not responding to you anymore. Critical. All right. So these are the three major features MQTT provides to you and which we use every day. All right. So first is it manages topics for us. Second is it makes sure that your message gets delivered either at QoS 0 or 1 or 2. We usually will always use QoS 0, QoS 1 sometimes, QoS very rare case. Okay. And the third most important function it does is it does life cycle management. It will send you birth messages, and very importantly, it will send you LWT messages when some of your devices are no longer connected. All right. And folks, this is extremely important. Unlike a website where a user is accessing it, page 404 that the website is no longer accessible because the user is there. But in the case of IoT, the user may not even be there. People might not look at it on a daily basis also. So it is very necessary to manage by exception, log, send SMSs, light up dashboards with red lights that these three devices are no longer in reach, because those devices could be doing some very important functions. They could be guarding your home. They could be placed in ambulances. They could be in self-driving cars. All right. They could be in spaceships. So it's very important that LWT like functionality be implemented for every single device that we have, right? So these are the major features of MQTT. Now let's get practical and let me show you some of these things. Okay. Okay. Before that, I have a very nice slide for you. How do these messages look when they arrive on the cloud? So from the top, it's all a cloud. It's all monolithic. Everything is working here. On the cloud, we have this MQTT server or MQTT broker. Its primary job is to manage topics. So it's going to create a topic for you. It is exactly same as a college notice board. It is no different in functionality. Okay. So MQTT will create a notice board and it will manage the notice board for you. It is not responsible for what messages you are putting on it. That's the responsibility of the publisher. And let's say you will have a publisher one publish for message one, publisher two will send some other message. So many different publishers will be able to put messages here and others will from these topics. Okay. Similarly, there can be many different topics. You could have the same publisher publish on multiple topics. You could have multiple subscribers read from the same topic, etc., etc. So the job of MQTT primarily is to manage and make sure that the topics work properly. Okay. And it's all running inside a cloud server. There are many different server software which do MQTT work. The most popular and one of the free ones is called Mosquitto Broker. Okay, so that's the one we'll be using now. There are topics on topics. All right. So let's see this action. Theory is over. Let's get our hands dirty and let me show you what MQTT looks like. All right. We have covered this. How do you design MQTT topics? Give a different topic to each of the devices and make the orchestrator make sure that messages get transferred from one topic to another effectively. All right. So I'm going to show you two tools right now where we'll practically see every single thing we have seen so far. We are going to practically see now. All right. So let me get that done. A quick check. Is my audio and my screen still visible, Renuka ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. Perfect. Perfect. So, just showing you live messages. Yeah, great, good. So what I've done is let's start with just showing you the topics. Okay,
Sir,
all of
please
this is running
unmute
on the
yourself.
server. Oh, I'm unmuted. Am I audible?
Yes, yes. No.
All right, perfect. So what we'll be doing is, um, let me show you the tool that we use to talk to MQTT. Now this is a very simple client on desktop. This is free. This is called MQTT box. All right. Now how this helps us is even if we have no devices, even if we have no cloud, if we have nothing, you can use this client to see how we can talk to MQTT. So for example, I will remove all of this for now. There's a publisher. Let's first look at what area we are talking to. So you create this box and you say I want to go and configure my MQTT client. So this is just a view, a window into MQTT. We will give a name to our client. All right. Now this is very important. You need to specify what protocol you're going to talk to. We are going to use MQTT protocol. What server are we going to talk to? This is our test server. Remember in the previous session we saw there's a IP address and there's a port. So the IP address for this is 175, right? Yeah. IP address is this, and the port is 1883. That is the standard MQTT port for all servers. There's a username password, but we'll not worry about it right now. You don't need to specify username password. Let's remove it. In fact, there's nothing running now on this server. Yeah. And then you say save, and you see this green button on top, which means your server is connected. Now let's mess with this, right? Let's say I don't want to talk to 1883. I want to talk to 5, and no MQTT server on 1885. When I save it, this will say connection error. I could not find the MQTT server at all. Let's go back. Let's fix this 1883. But I don't like this IP address. I want to talk to some other server. But there is no MQTT server deployed here. So again, connection error. So it needs the right combination of the IP address as well as the port for us to be able to properly connect to the server. Okay. It says connected. All right. So this is the publisher. What we can say is let's do some publishing subscribing. I think I had a question at the beginning from one of the professors here that can we do publish subscribe? Let me show you first how to do with the tool, and then we'll move on to code. Okay. So this is a publisher box. Let us say I want to write to a topic called door, or let's just take something called test topic. Okay. I will add a publisher. Now this is sending, and this is, sorry, I'm going to add a subscriber. This publisher is sending a message, and this subscriber is waiting for the message to come, and it has to be on the same, correct? Subscribe. And let's create one, let's not worry about that. Let's not worry. Let's have one more thing called test topic 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a message to test topic from a subscriber. I'm only sending to test topic right now. Okay. You say publish, and as you will see, the test topic has received this message. So whoever is subscribing to this will receive this message. Whoever has not subscribed to this will not receive this message, just like test topic 2. This box is not subscribing to test topic, so it has missed this message. Let me now send something to the other box. Now test topic 2 has received the message, 1 has not received the message, right? Now I will draw your attention to one thing. How many letters are there in this message? HELLO space WORLD. There are 11 characters here. All right. However, if you can see the data about the message, the length of the message is 22, not 11. Why is that? So for this, that's why I said let's cover architecture first. Hello world is the payload. Do you remember we spoke about payload inside an envelope? Hello world is the payload. That is the important message. On top of that, there are a lot of other things, right? What QoS do you have? These are the stamps on the envelope. All right. Retain, false, command, publish, all these kind of things. All of that is the envelope. So this message has 11 characters in the payload and another 11 characters in the envelope, right? And this is very obvious when you look at the entire message. All right. If I send something else, you can see 26 characters, whereas the message is not that long. Okay, so that is why this is not just the payload, this is the entire envelope. Out of that, you can choose to see only the payload. You don't want to see the envelope. All right, so I hope this will make the notion of envelopes and payloads again very clear. Okay. Let me go back to my meeting. Right. So far I've been sending messages from one box to the other. I think some people might be thinking all this is software. Where is the message? I can't see the message. So let me fix that. What I'll do is I will subscribe to the same topic from my mobile phone as well. All right. So I have here, I'm subscribing to my mobile phone. Are we connected? Let me project my mobile phone screen onto the projector here so everybody can look at it. Okay. What network am I on? Is this on the company Wi-Fi? No, it's not on the company Wi-Fi. I'm going to put it there. So I'm just setting up my my mobile screen so that I can show it to everybody. Okay, I'm connected. Now let me show you my mobile screen. Just a moment, guys. I'm having some trouble with my mobile. Just bear with me. Okay, 192.168.43.191. So let me show you my mobile screen. जो मिडिल वाला लिंक था वो but IP address change हो गया ना because we switched over to another network. All right, so 192 dot, this is the IP address of my phone, 168 dot 43 dot 191 191, right? Okay, so this is what my phone looks like. Let it come up. Oh, can't be connected. 192, 168, 43, 191, 80, 80. What's wrong with this? Give me one moment, folks. Are there other networks running with the same name? No. Only one, right? Let's go to Geo. No, not right now. Address is correct. The only reason I can think of is they are on different networks. Nobody else is having hotspot named IoT Copper Cloud, right? Yeah. Okay, doesn't matter. What I'll do is I'll show you on the browser itself. Right. So this is what is happening right now. We have been thinking that we'll send message from this box into this box, but that's not how it's working. What we'll do is now we will, so far we were typing out the message with our hands. Now what we'll do is we'll have one of our devices. Where is the test device? One of our devices send the message to the MQTT server. All right, exactly the same breadboard and the same device we had yesterday. we will start sending message from here. And to begin with, we will just send test message every 2 or 3 seconds onto it, right? So what I've done is I will show you the code in just 1 minute from now, but I'll first show you the output of the code. So this device is now embedded device, which is coded to send a test message to the MQTT server every 2 seconds. All right. And it has been given the name out topic. Okay. So what's happening is let's go and subscribe to a device called out topic. And let's subscribe here. And what you will start seeing is now I'm no longer typing this message. Where are these messages coming from? Let me remove this one. All right. So where are these messages coming from? This device is now coded to send this test message every couple of seconds over to the out topic. Okay, that's where it's coming from. This is the first example I am bringing to you of a device talking to a cloud over MQTT. All right. If I disconnect it, nobody is listening to it right now. Let's connect it up again, and you will find that you are receiving messages from the device. All right. So, so congratulations, you have your first example of a device talking to an IoT cloud over MQTT protocol, right? This is not doing anything useful. This is just sending you a test message. So let's do something useful with this device. But before that, let me show you how the code works. Okay, so I'm going to open the code for this particular device. Right. Renukaman, can you confirm that you are able to see this code screen?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Perfect. So let's see how we did this. We are not going to walk through all the lines of code. It's a very small program, but I will tell you in bits. There is a library called pub sub client. This is specifically written. This is C code. This is an Arduino ID, the same ID we used yesterday to upload the Brink program onto our microcontroller. Today we are going to use it to upload a program which talks to MQTT. For that, there are ready-made libraries that you can use called pub sub client, publisher subscriber client. Of course, when you connect to MQTT, you first have to connect to the internet, right? So this is the connection to the internet that you are getting right now. This is the hotspot on my mobile phone, and this is basically the IP address that I have just typed and the port. So you're making two connections. The first connection is the internet. The second connection is to the MQTT server available on the internet. All right. You connect to these like this. MQTT client.set server, you provide the server IP address and the port, you get connected, and then once you are connected, you are ready to start sending messages. What is the message you are sending is out topic is the topic, that's your contract with the server. Remember, what topic you are sending to is your contract. That's the only thing tying your device to your solution. If you start sending to the wrong topic, then your device is no longer part of the solution because the have broken the contract. So your contract is what is the IP address of the MQTT server, what is the port the server is listening on, and what topic I am writing to or I am listening to. That is out topic in this case. So all that we have done is that we have composed a message called test message talking to MQTT, and we are saying client.publish. This is the topic I want to publish to, and this is the message I am publishing. I think at the beginning I had a question from one of the professors, how do you do publishing? This is how we do publishing. Only these two lines of code will make sure your messages are coming. Message I'm sending test message talking to MQTT on out topic. And if I go back to MQTT box, out topic, test message talking to MQTT. All right, connect again, and you'll start receiving again. So this is it. That's all you need to start sending messages to MQTT. Okay. Once again, very quick review of the code. I will make all this code available. No worries. I have a very nice document. If you follow that document, you'll be able to get it running in under 5 minutes. That's my promise to you. All right. First important thing is PubSub client is the library that manages how to talk to MQTT for you. You need to provide two sets of credentials. First is what is your Wi-Fi access, and second is what MQTT server name and port are you talking to. All right, this is part of your contract with the MQTT server. All right, then you do a lot of the declarations. They are not very important. The one important thing, how do you connect, is you set server. You give the MQTT server, this is the server and this is the port I'm talking to, and then you connect it here. That's the end of the story. The birth message has been registered. All right. From that point onwards, as I said, loop is something that keeps running every time throughout the life cycle of the processor. You are going to say client.publish. First, give the name of the topic you are writing to, then you can give the message. I could simply change it to Abhijit. If I change it to Abhijit, right, and deploy this, I will stop receiving messages here. Then I have to change it to Abhijit here also. All right, and then everything will work fine. So no need to do that right now. Okay, so this is a very simple program. It doesn't do anything useful. So let's do something useful now. All right, what we'll do next is, let me go back to my Arduino. Yeah, so what we'll do next is, you remember the program we had written the day before yesterday where we were showing the distance reading on our console. We had put, can we switch on the other camera? Yes. Yeah. So I'm just showing you the device that we have prepared for this one. So this is the setup. Renuka ma'am, can you see the second camera?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. So what we are gonna do, just give me a moment. Just one moment. Right, I'm trying to get my mobile working, but it seems that the screen is not responding. So what we'll do is, whatever I wanted to show you on my mobile, if I can't get it to work in this session, I will fix it and I'll show you in the morning session then. All right, so my apologies. This actually fits in today's session, but no matter, we will cover it again. So for now, what I'm going to show you is, this is exactly the same setup as yesterday. Yesterday we were using this sensor and show off readings on the screen, right? Today we have changed the program, and just like right now we are just sending a test message onto a topic. Here we are going to send the reading onto the topic. Okay, the topic we have chosen, I will show you the code first this time. Right. So almost the entire code is exactly the same. I will show you where it's different. Yesterday we saw that we had connected trigger pin and echo pin, etc., etc. Then we connected to the internet. This is the new bit. And let's scroll all the way down. What we are going to say is read sensor. This is reading your sensor. Once again, making your trigger pin high, transferring the pulse, receiving the echo, computing how many microseconds have elapsed, and then finding out the duration of the pulse. And based on that, you use a speed of sound formula. And then yesterday we were printing it here. Today we are doing one more thing. We have created a topic called distance sensor, and we are writing out the centimeter value on that topic. All right, let's see in action. So the topic we are looking for, the contract now, is the distance in centimeters is going to be sent to a topic called distance sensor. Let me copy it. And let's listen to something called distance sensor. Let's subscribe here. And as you can see, I'm going to put up the camera view of both. Right. So you can see the 113 value coming here. Now remember guys, this is not coming on a computer screen. These numbers are being sent to the cloud onto an MQTT topic. All right. So to prove that, I'm going to put my hand in front, as you can see on the camera. Let my hand come up on the camera. I think it's there. And you can see a getting reading like 5 centimeters, 4 centimeters, etc. Now, as I move my hand further away, you can see the readings are increasing 9 centimeters, 10 centimeters, etc. etc. I take it far away and it becomes 30 centimeters, etc. Let me bring my hand back closer onto the sensor. You can see that the values have started decreasing. And if I bring it too close, you will again get 3, 4, 5 centimeters. All right. So we have taken one major leap from yesterday. Yesterday we had built an embedded device which did something good, which did something useful. It used a ultrasound sensor, got the readings and showed you the readings onto your screen. Now today we have leveled it up. It's not just showing values on screen. It is not talking to your MQTT server on a topic called distance sensor, and it's now sending the values on the distance sensor. And suddenly you can do many more things with it. Okay, you could put it on a car, and if the wall comes too close, you could send a message to the car engine to stop. Okay, you could put it on a forklift. If it detects there are people near 10 feet, it could slow down. Okay, you could put this very sensor without any changes in front of your door. If somebody walks up to your door at night within 3 feet of your door, you could use this sensor reading and do something useful with it. So we have just taken a very big leap. We have created our first IoT device. What is this device doing? It has an embedded layer, it has a gateway layer, it has an MQTT layer. The embedded layer senses how far my hand is. It transmits it through the gateway, through the MQTT protocol, and the MQTT is receiving the readings faithfully. Okay, this is a major leap. Now that the embedded part is there, the edge tier is working, we can talk about nicer things. Okay, we can talk about take this reading, send an SMS, send an alarm, close the door, close the car window, car engine, etc. etc. But the very first step we have just completed. All right. Now, before we end this discussion, I want to show you one more thing. We have only sent messages so far. We have not received messages from the cloud, correct? So without receiving, it's just half IoT. It's not full IoT. So let me now immediately, as the last demo in this today's session, let me show you how do we receive messages. Okay. Yogesh, can you set up the second device? Yes. Just with the LED. What I'm going to do is, so far we have a device which is sending distance readings to the cloud. What I'm doing, I'm replacing it with a device with just an LED connected to it. It's going to receive a message from the cloud. Okay, it's now subscribing and it's going to listen for just on or off. If we send it on, it is going to switch the LED on. If it receives off, it will switch the LED off. Okay. And then we'll do something more nice. I'm keeping it as a surprise. We'll show it in the last 5 minutes of the demo. Okay. So for now, just focus on the LED. So where is my pointer stick? There's no pointer stick. Yeah. So just like yesterday, if you can see what I'm showing on the camera, Node MCU connected to an LED, right? It is just going to make the pin high or pin low. If it receives on, it's the same program as Blink yesterday. In Blink, we had set 1 second on, 1 second off. Now this program says if I receive on, LED goes on. If I receive off, LED goes off. Okay, why did it go on right now? We sent something. All right. What is the topic it's listening on? In topic. This particular device, again an IoT device, is listening to in topic. Okay, so let me remove this. Let's not distract ourselves. What I'm going to do is in topic. That's what the device is expecting. Let me do both side by side. Okay, this device is expecting to receive messages on something called in topic. Okay, so let's get that done. Let me resize this. All right, so I'm going to send on and off command through my computer here, and I expect the LED to respond to the command. Let's get that done. Okay. Sorry. Also subscribe. Why do we subscribe?
So message made to me.
Okay, let's check the incoming message also. Right? Subscribe. So what we are gonna do is the only contract here, guys, the only contract that your IoT device has with MQTT is the name of the topic and what kind of data you're expecting, on or off. Let's say on. Okay, I send on. You are in the topic you're seeing on, and the LED has gone on. No trick involved. My hands are on my computer. All right. I will send off, publish, the message goes off, the device goes off. All right. There's a slight delay here because I'm not sending message to the device directly. I'm sending a message from my computer to the cloud MQTT server. The device is subscribing to the cloud, and that's why that half a second delay is happening. Okay. Let's do this again. I'm going to say on, LED goes on. I'm going to say off. Infinitely, if I send something else, my device is not going to respond because that's not part of the contract. That's not part of the protocol. I'm going to say off. The device goes off. So second IoT device, we have built two IoT devices in today's session. First one was sending you distance readings. The second one is switching an LED on and off based on what data I'm sending. I'm sending on or I'm sending off. All right. So we have done transmission as well as we have done reception of the message. Okay. I would like to show you just one more variation of this very program. I'm not going to change any single thing in the code. I'm not going to change any single thing in the message. The only change I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the LED with an AC bulb. All right, and this is where things get interesting because we are starting to get into the home automation kind of projects. And this is just this much, the little bit of 30 lines of code I have showed you and just one topic we have seen so far. Using that, we are going to control an AC light. The only change I have made to the devices, I have taken the LED out. I have brought in a relay in its place, and the relay is going to talk to a bulb. No worries. All right. So exactly same setup. In addition to the LED, where is the camera coming?
Yeah,
all right. In addition to the LED, I am now attaching a relay. The relay is controlling the bulb. Okay. Let's see how it works. Connected?
Yeah.
All right. Great. No change to what I'm doing here. I'm still going to send on and off because that's the contract. Send on. So in addition to the LED, the AC bulb has also lit up. Okay, and this is the beauty of distributed systems, that the microcontroller doesn't really care whether it's controlling an LED or whether it's controlling a full-fledged bulb or it's controlling a three-phase motor or it's controlling a door or a car or something else. All it knows is when I get on, I have to switch on my pin. When I'm getting off, I have to switch off my pin. And the magic is being done by what actuator or what sensor we have attached to the controller. I say off, it will go off. All right. So no change except for the fact that in place of LED, I now have a relay connected to a bulb in place. Let's do this again. We'll do on, message on received on the in topic. The microcontroller responds, the relay kicks in, the bulb lights. I send off, topic receives off, relays it to the controller, controller lowers the pin voltage, relay kicks off, the light goes off. As simple as that. Full-fledged IoT, we have not touched orchestration, we have just done communication. But within communication, right now there is no brain required. It is just has to say that whether it's on or off. So we are not using orchestration bits. But even using only MQTT, we can build certain IoT devices, and that's all the effort it takes. Right now I'm explaining it and it has taken us 90 minutes to get here. If we were just building it, we can build this stuff in under 5 minutes. So if you use the right protocols, the right tools and the right architecture, this is how easy IoT can be for us, right? So, right, let me see what else I have. Let me go back to my deck. But I think we promised you 2 or 3 things. We said that we will send some meaningful data. So that's why we said, let's not just send some test messages. We actually will send readings from a sensor. That's what we have seen. And then we said, let's not just send, let's also receive things from the cloud. And that's how we have been able to switch off. All the code I will make available. Don't worry about the code. This is what we did. First, we just sent a test message, right, to make sure the device was talking to the cloud. In the cloud, there is an MQTT server. In the MQTT server, there are topics. On the topics, we are publishing messages, right? We started with this, then we moved on. We said we don't just want dummy messages, we want meaningful messages. So we put a distance sensor there, connected it to a microcontroller, and then sent that distance reading every second onto the topic. This is what we did just now. Okay. With that, this one I'll work out why my mobile phone is not responding. It's got hung. But with that, I think this brings us to the end of today's session. I hope it has been engaging, because all the principles we have seen in the previous session and all the protocols we have discussed, this session brings all of this together. And first time we have built different kinds of IoT devices which actually work in the IoT way, right? So with that, I'll open the floor for questions. Feel free to ask us anything.